Hey guys, welcome back to the Jersey Peach. Today we are going to pick up where we left off at, and we're going to continue with the Grow as I Grow guide here with the Jersey Peach. And we are going to, hopefully you all have already done this, where you have already made up in your mind exactly where you want to plant the things that you want to plant, keeping in mind not to have those plants to clash when it rolls into the springtime. So also, if you had a previous garden from the last year, then hopefully you are ready and or have already removed those items in preparation for your winter and fall garden this year. I also have ahead of us my vision board for my garden. This is my garden. This is the sketch of my garden. That's my 4 garden boxes here. It's the walking space, so forth and so on. Some more grow space here, grow space here. This is my patio, grow space, tree, grow space, so forth and so on. In any event, what I do with that particular piece is I go ahead and I make copies of it, because for the most part, that is the layout of my garden, whether I have plants in it or not. Now the plants are definitely interchangeable, and I move them periodically. Some things are perennials and they're set in place, such as the trees that you see sketched there, and they won't be moving as much, but the other plants that are annuals, they will be shifting around. So I leave it blank, and as the seasons come up, I can go ahead and write down what I put and where I put them. Just in case the markers on the outside fade away with the weather, I do have something that I can reference to. So if you would like to, that is just something that you all can do as well, and it's not mandatory. However, today we got work to do. Okay guys, so we're just going to do a quick overview of the yard. There's some of my big box plants and some seed starts that I did do at home. Here's my yard. I went ahead and did some grass cutting, some weed eating, just got it all aesthetically pleasing. There's some of the plants that we're going to pull, and there's some of the plants that we're also going to harvest. As you may see here, I have my burn barrel set up in place where I burn some of my yard debris. Got my compost all set up as well, so that we just have to spread it out, and then we can plant some of those plants that you've seen over in the corner. Just another overview of my yard. Hopefully you guys have got some of this done yourself. I absolutely love when it's time to clean up and get set up for the next season. Absolutely, absolutely love it. I can't wait. So guys, that is the overview of the yard. I'm going to grab some supplies, as you will see, and we're going to go ahead and get physical and get into that dirt and start moving some things around. So grab your gloves, get yourself some garden boots, and let's get to it. We're also going to do some cutbacks. I'm going to cut back some of the perennial flowers that I have set in place, which are echinacea. You'll see me do some of that in the video as well. And we'll talk all about exactly what's going on. All right, guys, I'm going to go to the area that I need to pull these pepper plants from. They still have peppers bearing, although there won't be any more growing on them because the season is past them. Still have to pull these pepper plants up from the top and the bottom rows, left and the right. I like to shake all of my soil off as I go through the process. I'll go to the lower row, and I'll only leave behind my echinacea plants on both the left and the right beds here. Almost finished with this box. There we go. Finished up. Moving right along to the next box where the bell peppers are. It looks like it's just one plant. It is about 4 plants here, and they are stuck in there. Guys, if you don't have this step to do, you're blessed. But if you have a garden, these are the things that you need to do. So for my gardeners who already had things planted, go ahead and remove those things that will not be producing in the season coming until you have it all cleared out, whether you're going to use it or not. If you're not going to use the space, that's fine, but just make sure that you have your areas already cleaned out just in case. Gonna go ahead and grab my wheelbarrow, pick up the plants that we just got finished pulling up. These will soon be loaded into my burn barrel. You go ahead and do the same if you had to do this step. I'm going to pick them up from both sides, of course, and then eventually we'll load them into the burn barrel. You dispose of your yard debris as you choose. So guys, I got myself a container here to get my harvest, and my burn barrel is right there. So I'm just going to collect and throw the remainder over into the burn barrel. It would be ideal for me to sit down and do this, but is that going to happen? No. So pretty much you just go ahead and you get that done, and when you're done with that, hopefully you guys have it all planned out of what you're going to actually be doing, because today I am going to be spreading out my compost, feeding my soil, and just trying to figure out exactly where I want to plant for the season that's coming so that I can have my fall and winter vegetables and not run into a problem for the summer and the spring. So I know that I'm going to use the lower bed and a couple of trellis sites, and it won't interfere with what I have going on. So I'm just going to go ahead and knock this out the way, and I'll be right back with you guys. So we just covered pulling up some plants that were planted last year. So depending on where you are with your gardening, you may have to remove some things in order to put some things down. And then I went ahead and I cut back the echinacea that was growing up there. It was just the old stems, and I harvested the heads of the, nope, that's not the bucket. I harvest the heads of the echinacea, and I'll tell you all about what I'm going to do with those, and we'll also do some seed harvesting and seed storing for the following season. If you guys are interested in that, we'll definitely cover that. There was just a little bit of peppers here. I got those out the way. And so now what we need to do is return to those same beds that's just up there, and we need to smooth out the soil and get some plants down. That's the fun part, right? So I'm going to show you two different plant types that I have. I have some big box plants that I brought from Home Depot or Lowe's, one of those places. And then I have some seed starts that I did of my own, and I'll show you both. All right, so here's what I got. I got some homemade seed starts. I've had them around for a while. I've actually letting them get beyond me, a little raggedy for the sake of doing this along with you all, but not to worry for me. I'll be fine. And these plants will be just as fine. So, I have me some collards, some arugula. I have me some cilantro. I know by the leaf. It's doing very bad. Oh. And then I got me some big box stuff, right? So, my big box stuff comes in cubes. And there's a way that you need to deal with things that come in cubes. All of these are in cubes, but these are overgrown in cubes, and they have something called root bound. Something called root bound. So before you plant this, you want to try to tease this out a little bit so that you can have a nice healthy plant. You want to just tease it out, just like gently open that up so that the roots can not be so coiled up. I'm going to move these plants over to the bed that we're going to put them in, and we'll get started. All right, now I have my compost already spread out in the area that I plan on planting in. I have a mixture that I put together myself. It is fertilizer mixture. It has all the components that's necessary for what I'm going to be growing. Do go ahead and grab your mixture or your packaging from a big box store, as long as you are aware of exactly how to use your fertilizer. If it is a packaged item, read the instructions on your fertilizer so that you are not overusing or underusing. Do keep in mind that during the fall and winter garden, you won't be out here doing as much fertilizing and watering because the requirements change significantly. And if those vegetables that you're planting require nitrogen or phosphorus for being big root development for your carrots, your root crops, and your deep greens or your deep burgundies, they absolutely love nitrogen. But read your packaging. I have the Jersey Peach Special here. I just did a little mix up. I'm very aware of exactly what I mix in. You'll get to that point eventually. But for the gardener who has a garden already or the gardener who's starting, this is a step we all need to do. Feed your soil. All right, so I have my little seedlings that I planted from seed by myself already put in the ground, and then I have my big box stores that I'm going to plant in a different place. So my method, and everybody's going to definitely think differently, is I want the ones that are going to be quicker to mature and ready for me to harvest and bring into my family up in the front, and then the ones that are coming later in the back. And so what that's called is a staggering method. So you basically put down the same plant at different stages of growth so that you can harvest at different times and not just pulling in one big haul. And that way you have a lot more to spread out to your family. I'm pretty much a hands-on girl. You can use a tool at this point, but you do not have time to go ahead and get those plants down, guys. So you want to dig yourself a nice little opening there in the soil, just size enough for the plant that you have. You don't want to go too big and you don't want to go too small, of course. So you want to make sure that you are getting that plant down to the soil line that's already present on the plant start that you already have from your big box store, or either your seedlings that you started in the house, unless the plant is leggy and you're just using some of the soil around to support the collar or the neck of the actual plant. Try not to let the true leaves of the plant contact the soil too much, because then the compost will consume your plant and treat it as organic matter, which it actually is, and then your plant will dissolve and you'll think that you have a bug infestation when actually it has just been decomposed by the earth. After we get that down into a plug, spacing is something that's very important. Make sure that your spacing is correct. Refer to your seed packaging or do some research on the plant that you have and the spacing that's required. If you don't have any of that on hand, no problem. I like to use, for a rule of thumb, a nice wide peace sign apart, your pointer and middle finger as wide as you can get it for the leafy greens. One plant per plug, and if it's a bigger plant like cabbage, I use about a shoulder length apart. You'll get familiar with what's what. In the event that you don't do the right spacing, what will happen is you just won't get as big of a leaf or root as you would like, but you'll still get something to harvest. So it's all in the fun of learning. Let me bring you guys in a little bit closer so you can see exactly how I get these down into the ground. Okay, guys, moment of truth. I wanted to give you this visual because when you're just starting out, this is the kind of looks that you get. You may have something big and voluptuous, but most plant starts just don't look so lovely, especially if you're a new gardener. And I'm not a new gardener, and this is what I have, but I know what I'm going to get. So if this is what you're looking at, don't fret, guys. This is actually pretty normal. This is called root shock. I just took those things from the growing area that they were in and I put it into a new area. Yep, they passed out on me. Your plants will pass out on you. Water those babies in, they'll be just fine. So just to give you an example, I did these plants on the last video that we did. That's the red Russian kale. They look just as scrawny and just as raggedy and hungover, just like the plants that you just seen. They done perked back up, they're standing back up, and they're moving right along. So just trust the process. It will certainly work out for you. All right, let's just do a quick overview. It doesn't look like very much of anything. You see the burn barrel with my yard debris. Got everything all situated. Hopefully you got your area situated. And we're going to come together and talk about what we just experienced and how we feel about all those things. And then we're going to watch our progress. That is going to be amazing. I promise you. It's going to all be worth it in the end. Trusting the process is a part of our plan. So let's discuss what I want you to understand about this Grow As I Grow with the Jersey Peach. I'm really here for the new gardeners. I really am, because you guys give me all the thrill, all the chills, because I like to see you doing something that you thought was hard. I like to give you the actual visual. So I gave you all the good, the bad, and the ugly. My little scrawny plants over there, believe it or not, you guys know I'm not a new gardener, and you know that I do big things back here. I promise you that's the way my plants look. That's the way it starts out. So if you have those visuals, don't get upset. Don't be like, oh my gosh, it's not going to work out for me. Look at my plants. You just got to trust the process. We're going to talk through everything that you're going to experience. The plant shock, the root bound, the leggy plants. We're going to cover them as we need to go along. We're going to talk about how to make a makeshift greenhouse and a little covering for the winter, a little cloche. We're going to go through anything that I found to be an adversity when I started growing, because I don't want you to have those issues, and I want you to have real visuals, because it doesn't always come out so pretty. It's not always like this big luscious plant that's right in front of you. Sometimes you have very small beginnings and you have grand endings. I have grand endings, so you're going to have grand endings too. If you are brave enough to start your own seeds, good for you. If you're not quite there yet, I'm going to get you there. And if you are a big box shopper, I like to do both, but I really like to do my own seeds. Hey, all is welcome. There's absolutely no shame. If you're not an organic gardener, cool. That's your business. If you are, hey guy, I am too. It's all fine here. The important thing is to grow your own food. That's the important part. Here's some homework for you. What I want you to do, if you had not been able to catch up with the video, just utilize the video as a point of reference. Go ahead and get your yard space cleaned up. Go ahead and remove the plants or prep your area if you don't have an area already. The best that you can. The best that you can. It does not have to be perfect. I want you to listen to me. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be gorgeous. We'll worry about aesthetics later. Just do your best, whatever your best is. After you have that, if you already have a garden planted, make sure that you get all of your vegetation off your harvest before you go ahead and dispose of it or put it in the burn barrel like I did. You don't want to roast your peppers when you could have roasted them inside the house, right? So go ahead and get everything up. Map out your space. If you're working backwards right now, that's fine. If after this video you said, oh, I love this idea that the Jersey Beach had, I'm going to do one. Go ahead and do it. We still have plenty of time, because this time when it's the fall and the weather is nice, as you can see, my hijab is just blowing in the wind. I have on nice little flannel shirt. It's not cold, but it's not hot. It's very comfortable. I'm enjoying the breeze. Clean up your space so that you could just sit down, look onto your yard and ponder and just visualize exactly what it's going to be like. Because when we are coming up on the summer and spring babies, we are going to be ready. We are going to be ready. We're going to have so many greens. We're going to have so much vegetables that we're going to be pulling in and freezing and storing and chopping. And we are going to be rolling, okay? Utilize this time. Utilize this breeze to go ahead and get all your muscle work and all your hard work into your yard. Sketch out your place. Bring your artista, your artistic nature out, if that's what you would like to do. Go ahead and bring that out now so you don't bust a sweat in the summer and get that. So take care of all of that and continue to always draw out a plan of what you want to do moving forward, what you want to start planning for the next season, because we're always thinking ahead. And I will meet back up with you guys in November, of course, because October is almost out and we will be rolling right onto the next project. I'll definitely be posting and giving you guys updates of the plants as they go along. And do feel free to share your updates of your plants if you put some down. I would love to see them. As always, guys, enjoy your garden, enjoy your growing space. Until next time.